Well, hello everyone. It's like here to talk to you about the camera activity. Is you talk about here is like what the camera activity is. Most of us are familiar with like a camera like this right here is to where you have this like the flash, and of course you got right here is the zoom, and of course the viewfinder right here is like if you were to hold the camera like this and you want to be able to take pictures, it is. And of course, still even have the manual, it is. But on your hand too, to knowing about, you got the camera right here, and of course you got right here is the screen right here. You got the screen with a few buttons right here. You got the top button right here, and of course you have right here is the buttons for you can change the actual the time, and of course if you want to put it on self picture tag, it's like if you want to put on the self timer, and of course print it directly connected to like a photo printer, and print it from what you say, so from the say that from directly from the camera it is. And of course you got right here is that the button, you got the buttons right there, and then of course you got right here is the menu, it is. But the menu to where you can actually change the settings and like the language, and of course you got the buttons right here, zoom in and zoom out buttons. Of course, I've had this camera for quite a long time, so I guess I would know some features about. You got video mode, and of course you got the site for snap, to be able to snapshot right here, and of course you got the directions for how to remove red eye. It is, and a lot of us would probably think about with most cameras it is that with camera models, a lot of us will probably think you got right here is the wrist wrap. It's like knowing about with me that whenever I used it a lot, and I would use is the wrist wrap a lot of times. And most of us would probably think about whenever you buy a camera, it is, and you would maybe use it like in your camera, like got right here is the roll of film, of course, right here. But with the camera though, that most of us maybe looking to the screen right here. It's got a screen right here, and with the screen that you can actually look at the whatever you're looking at, to be able to take a picture that say that favorite moment it is. But then of course you got the viewfinder right here, and where you can take the picture is. But a lot of people would probably think about is like if you were to actually be working with a film strip, kind of like this right here. This is an old a film strip from a disposable camera. It is. If most of us are what you call are familiar with, like what you call is disposable, from the disposable cameras. It is. You got right here is the film. It's like what you call it's like with the picture. The way the technology, I guess, works is like nowadays it's like, well, like with me, somebody like me and maybe a few other people would probably think about it. Maybe you look forward to getting something new maybe after about 3 or 4 years after using it. But of course, if you like using that product to the point to where they, hey, that I really don't want to upgrade to anything new, I'll go ahead and stay with what I have right now. But on the other hand, too, that there may be some people that say that some of the pictures from this type of moment right here, from on this on this film strip right here, it's like if you would actually hold up to the light, that actually you can actually see the pictures right there, and just knowing about that, that they're not taken on this new product, and so I don't want to upgrade to that new product at least until later on, maybe whenever I can afford it. It is. But on your hand too about the camera activity is, and knowing about some people might say that, hey, I'll be out of job, if you upgrade to something new or something like that. But I really think the whole matter is that really that it seems like there's always a part of the job, I guess, about the learning stuff like how the camera works, and of course about maybe if it's a new system or anything like that, and knowing about the time it takes you to develop the pictures. You say like a lot of times in the photo lab, within less than an hour is about whenever you take a picture, and like with the new technology it is. And some people may think about that besides the digital picture frame, it is if you use this, and then of course you have right here is, you say, is the USB connector port right here. It's like it has a slot right here to where you can actually connect it to, say, as to a USB connector. Of course, this is an old camera too. It's an old camera, and of course I don't use it as much as as the other one I have here. But you have right here is the connector. You can Jackson, of course, say for power on, and it would let you know if it uploads. And of course that takes more time for me to explain all what I do. But basically, from my words of saying, is that whenever you upload pictures, that you would click first thing is like knowing about it's like just to bring up on the screen here is about the whole camera activity is I can go ahead and just hold the camera like this. But other than that is knowing about, if most of us were to have experience of uploading pictures, is that that first that you would you know, make sure that that you know, it's reading, it's, you know, that you have a, you clear your feed between the camera, your connection between the camera, and then of course the PC, the computer PC, if you know, maybe if you're using a Mac, it is. And then of course on your hand too, that knowing about that you click if you do want to do it manually, or if it's automatically you'll copy, you know, from your camera to your computer, it is. And most of the time with most cameras, like a digital camera right here, it would come with software. And a lot of times the software that you got, make sure it's all installed and all updated, you know, to your PC, you know, just for it to you know, to transfer, say, to transfer media files from your camera, you know, onto the PC, it is. And then knowing about if you want to edit them, or if you want to upload them to, you say, you know, internet sites like, you know, it's like Facebook, or you know, it's like, you know, Twitter, you know, Photobucket, or anything like that. That knowing about is like with the pictures, though, that compared to you know, this type of technology is like from the disposable cameras, and you know, to that, you know, that new stuff, it's like knowing about, people will probably think about that, yeah, that knowing about, hey, you know, from the amount of time it takes, you know, really from the amount of time it takes, you know, to work with all this stuff. Really, I'm like knowing about, it's like that. You really a watch with no, you know, with the non-working battery inside of it, and just knowing about the fact about how much time it takes, really, and knowing about that. Yeah, that. But on your hand too, that what some people may think about, other than with time though, that it's like, you know, yeah, it's a, you know, it requires, you say, you know, memory card. It's like, wait a minute, huh? I can. Memory card? What's a memory card? Well, other than that, knowing about, you got right here is the memory card right here, and just some people probably think about that. Yeah, between, you know, between these two sources of technology, it is. Besides, you say, you know, besides what you call, you know, maybe when you, what do you call one of those plugins is like that. How to describe this? But the whole part about the technology is like between what you call, it's like, you know, putting a, you know, maybe you know, putting a, you know, making sure that the joy, you know, transmit, you know, if it's if you're, you know, learning how to use a stick shift or anything like that. But other than that is knowing about the fact about if you'll be doing, you know, yard work, or you know, maybe, you know, making a phone call, it is. And just knowing about, you know, how things, you know, work, you know, totally different, you know, between this right here, between the strip right here, then this right here, this, you know, film right here of photos right here, and then the memory card right here. And some of you probably say about that, you know, you can't really even see your pictures, you know, just by looking at this, you know, alone, it is. But on your hand too, that, you know, if you put it into the memory card slot, and of course, and then put it in the memory card slot, and then from there, and then you'll be able to look at your pictures that way. And with most people would probably think about that, that what, you know, what really seems to be an easy part about it. And then the more likely you could probably think about that, whenever I start using this technology back, you know, those couple of years ago, back 8 years ago is whenever I had bought it. And I remember that the day I had some extra money to spend, and so that they were, you know, I seen them, I think, yeah, I seen them, you know, went to, of course, make them say Walmart, you know, other retail stores, and I went ahead and got a camera, it is. And a lot of people probably think about, you know, I did not even go to school, you know, just to learn, you know, use this stuff. It was, I did not go to school, or, you know, I did not, I guess you could look at it, it was kind of like a gift, it is. But on the other hand, too, that with most people would probably think about is like knowing about with digital, it is. That really between, it's like knowing about, you know, USB connector, and then of course with being able to, it's like you go through the viewfinder and taking pictures, it is that knowing about that, you know, of course erase them, and like with most disposable cameras, it is, you know, you can't erase it. You know, they say that, you know, you only have like maybe 10 or 11 pictures, you know, total of for what you can use, and then from there, and then they tell you whenever they're ready. But like with digital technology, it is a lot of times, especially with the webcam here, with digital technology, it gives you that capability. I guess they say whenever they upgrade to new technology, it just seems like that gives you more options. But of course, on the other hand too, that it takes more time. You say, does it really take you more time just to learn this stuff, or is it a fact about are they trying to save time at the lab, or it is just besides you working with working with it, the chemical, the stuff that they use, just to develop the pictures it is. But more likely, they could probably say they still do that. But on the other hand, too, that knowing about with the new technology that they say that it gives that user, that customer, gives that person, whoever's that's taking the pictures, it gives them more options. It is of letting them do what they like to do with whatever they want to do with the pictures it is. So, the way I think about with technology is what's the next source of technology could be is that maybe it's like maybe something like this right here that maybe you fold out into a pair of glasses right here. You can be able to mount like a little device on the glasses, like I heard about Google Glass, where you can actually take you know take pictures like this, and then go ahead and then it would automatically be transmitted onto to the computer. It is to the device for what you're using for that clear picture. But other than that, let's talk about it's like we say with the camera activity.